everybody. Welcome to another episode of Tables, Ladders, and Chairs. I'm your host, Eric, joined as always by my co-host, T. T, how are you tonight?
Doing all right.
Good to hear. I don't know about you, but I am jacked up. It is WrestleMania week. We are just, two sleeps? Thursday, Friday? Yeah, two sleeps from WrestleMania night one.
And if you look at Saturday, we're going to need that sleep.
Yeah, rest up, everybody. You got to be at your, if you're on the East Coast like us, you got to be at your TVs by 1 o'clock or whatever you're watching from. And, dude, you probably ain't leaving. Like, you'll get, I guess if you want, you'll have, a little bit of a dinner break because it looks like they're doing, I don't know if Stand and Deliver is supposed to just be a 3-hour show. If so, it'll be over around what? That would mean 4, but we'll say they go over a little bit. Let's just say 4:30. You've got what, a half hour before the pre-show starts, or is it an hour? I think is it 6 o'clock the pre-show? So you might have an hour and a half. Because I know the night one's supposed to go on at 8 o'clock. And I mean, look, there's a good chance that's going past 11. Like night one and night two, I think are both going to end up going past 11.
Which is fine with me.
Oh yeah, I don't care. I don't gotta go anywhere. And I was told today, very excited, that my plans for Saturday will include being home in time. So I will be at my television, ready to watch Saturday night. Well, Saturday afternoon, Saturday 1 o'clock, because I was told, yeah, we got to be there really early, and I'm like, okay, earlier the better for me. Yeah, she's like, well, yeah, we got to get up early and something. Like, you understand who you're talking to, right? I get up at 4:15 every day. Unless it's any earlier than that, I'm not phased. But yeah, so my plans will include being able to be watching WrestleMania from beginning to end. And I plan on, I'll be in front of the television watching at 1 o'clock all the way through. Heck, I kind of feel like that little break that we're going to have, that hour and a half, it's like, what am I supposed to do? I'll probably, that'll probably be when I go get a shower or something, get some food, which I guess is the plan for everybody, to give the at-home audience time to then go get dinner.
Yeah, dinner, snacks, drinks.
Now, I'm wondering what's the play here. And you're a fellow drinker like me. Do you think, I like rum and cokes, but I also like a good beer. So I'm thinking, the expression goes liquor before beer, you're in the clear. So I'm thinking I, do some rum and cokes during Stand and Deliver, and then beers during Mania. Or do you think I'm rolling the dice there? Normally I don't like to mix my alcohols.
Well, I don't know about you, but I was going to do the dangerous task of taking a shot of I don't know what every time they said stupendous.
Okay. Let's do that. Let's come up with our own official drinking game. Okay? You want to have the TLC endorsed WrestleMania drinking game. So obviously shot every time they say stupendous, which, my God, really? That's the buzzword, stupendous? Okay. Let's see.
And you can't forget the obvious rule. If CM Punk comes back, you got to chug an entire bottle of Pepsi.
Okay. All right. Yeah. And obviously, yeah.
I mean, probably won't happen, but.
Well, no, considering he's under contract at AEW, but.
Hey, you never know.
Oh, sure.
Opened earlier this year.
The Forbidden Door. There we go. Yeah. Okay. So, do you want to jump in? Let's start with Stand and Deliver. We'll just do the big matches on Stand and Deliver. The let's start with the NXT Women's Championship match, a Fatal 4-Way. Mandy Rose against Kaylee Ray, against Io Shirai, against Cora Jade. Who do you think walks out the NXT Women's Champion?
I don't know.
Isn't that the beauty of it? I feel like NXT, like it could go and not just this match. I feel like any of the matches we could go either way.
I don't even know who I want to win.
I know, like I feel like I'm gonna be like during the match, just like cheering the entire time, just and people are gonna go, "Who are you rooting for?" Don't know, don't care. Just blow the roof off the place.
Just one of those matches where there's no real wrong answer.
I kind of feel like that would be a cool match to start the show.
That would be bold.
Because it's like, how do you kick off WrestleMania weekend? Now, I don't care what they say. WrestleMania SmackDown does not really kick off WrestleMania. Now, the Hall of Fame, I'll say, does. But as far as match wise, like, I think you kick off Stand and Deliver with the NXT Women's Championship match. You put out a bold statement, just, we're going all out for this weekend. Like, this is got to be your weekend where you're like, I don't want to say making it up to your audience. Like some of the, like, it's been a rough year. Like, let's not make any mistake about it. We had a lot of guys leave. Like Daniel Bryan left the company. Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish. CM Punk decides to join AEW instead of coming to WWE. Like you had this has been a rough year. Like there's been some times like where it's not been so cool to be a WWE fan this year. And the cool trendy thing is to crap all over WrestleMania and the whole weekend. And that's what AEW, although I love how like these other promotions want to crap all over WrestleMania and call it, oh, the sports entertainers. Yet somehow they always want to do a show in the same town as WrestleMania that weekend. Odd. They like other companies gear their big weekend around WrestleMania weekend because they just want to get that rub of the wrestling fan who maybe got shut out from getting tickets to Stand and Deliver or to WrestleMania night 1 or 2. And so you want to try to get them to come, or the ones that are there, they got a bunch of tickets to other shows and they're just like, hey, you know what? There's all this wrestling going on. I'm in my, wrestling state of mind. I'm going to go to, Supercard, or I'm going to go whatever, Battle of the Belts or whatever AEW is putting on. I think they're putting something on. Last year they did a house show. And that's what they called it, house show, because they hadn't done any house shows. And they put on a house show in Tampa at some like high school stadium or something, like the same weekend as WrestleMania. Like it was like a Saturday afternoon, and so a lot of people went Saturday afternoon to the house show, and then went on over. If they had tickets to WrestleMania that night. Hadn't been to a wrestling show in almost a year, or over a year, and and then they got to go Overkill. So I'm with you though. Getting back on subject, I think I'm with you. I don't know who's gonna win the NXT Women's Championship match, and I don't think there's really a wrong answer. And that even includes Mandy Rose retaining. I think I'd be okay with that too.
Yeah.
All right, let's stay with the women. Let's stay with Toxic Attraction, the tag team titles against the newly reformed team of Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez.
I mean, it'd be cool to see them win the titles again, Raquel and
Dakota, yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll go with Dakota and Raquel.
Okay. Yeah, I think if Mandy loses, like if they were to go that match order and they go the women's championship first, and if Mandy were to lose the title, then I think there's no way that Toxic Attraction retains the tag titles. But if Mandy wins, I think there's a good, even if Mandy wins, there's a good chance Dakota and Raquel win the tag titles. But I think there's no way that Mandy loses and the other two keep their belts. No, I'll go with that as part of my prediction. But yeah, I think I'm going to go Dakota and Raquel. Because in all my scenarios, that's the one that's, the most likely. So yeah, I'll go with that. Or it's allowed to happen, because I just said they don't retain if Mandy loses, and they still might not if Mandy does retain. So that means there's two possibilities of them retaining as opposed to just one or two possibilities of them losing as opposed to just one possibility of them retaining. Oh. All right, let's move along. Tommaso Ciampa versus Anthony D'Angelo.
Well, it's seemingly Ciampa's last NXT match, it looks like.
So I guess he's going to the main roster.
Okay,
so I think I'm with you. I think D'Angelo gets the win over Ciampa. All right, so now, actually, I think this match might end up opening the show. The North American Championship ladder match. Who you got?
You know what? Carmelo Hayes is kind of growing on me.
Yeah, me too. I kind of think he's going to retain.
Yeah, it'd be all right if he retained.
Now, the only person I really think, they should win the North American title is Cameron Grimes. Like, I've been kind of into that whole story. Maybe it's just, the sentimentality for me, I lost my dad. He talked about losing his dad and promising me he was going to be champion. So, like, that tugged at the heartstrings. And so that's why I'd love to see Cameron Grimes win. But part of me really does believe, like, that's just setting up the Yank, like, for a heel turn. Like, him, like, having, like, a breakdown after not winning it and going all full heel. Which I could be entertained by that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think I'll go Carmelo Hayes. What else is on that card? Do we have an NXT tag team title match? Oh yeah, the
triple threat.
Yeah, Imperium versus the Creed brothers and MSK.
What's happening?
I mean, maybe an MSK winning the titles and a heel turn, maybe.
Sorry, my computer just blanked out for a second.
Oh, well, right. Luckily you didn't do anything on here. You're good on my end.
All right. Anyway.
So, okay. Yeah, your predictions.
Well, I think they're setting something up for the Creed brothers. 2 weeks ago, they did some thing with their locker rooms. They probably won't win, even though they won the Dusty Cup.
Yeah, which has been the thing.
Don't really want to see MSK again, but I wouldn't be against it. It's another one of those things.
Yeah, I kind of think this screams Imperium retains. And maybe
That's
whoever attacked the Creeds is like, maybe what's his name? Timothy Thatcher, and he joins Imperium.
Timothy Thatcher, I think, has been wished a future endeavors. Or wished. Whatever. I think I.
Yeah.
Yeah, not.
They future endeavored him.
Yeah, I believe so.
Maybe they could have secretly rehired him.
They secretly rehired, what's his name?
Shane O'Mac.
Well, him too, but that little dude, I forget what his name was. I think he was Rockstar Spud in TNA.
Oh, Drake Maverick. Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, man. Why do I remember that name? Yeah, they hired him back as a trainer, last I heard.
Oh, okay. Good for him. Okay. So let's go. What's left? The NXT Championship. Braun Breaker versus Dolph Ziggler. I mean, they had Breaker lose the title probably just so, the day after the Hall of Fame, after watching his dad and uncle get inducted into the Hall of Fame. I mean, what are the odds that Braun Breaker doesn't win this? I mean, do we need to get Scott Steiner on here to tell us the odds for this match?
I'm sure he'd be happy to.
I feel like Scott Steiner's the type that, like, if I just DM'd him on Twitter and asked him to jump on our show, he'd probably do it. I feel like, his bar is very low as far as appearances that he would accept. We might be just below it, but I feel like, it's where I might as well shoot my shot, right?
Hey, we got our success sharing checks. We can afford an appearance.
Yeah. This appearance brought to you by my success sharing check. No, I'm not going to say the company because they don't fully endorse it. I'm just paying for this with my success sharing. That would be pretty cool though if I got Scott Steiner on here. Yeah, so it kind of sets up though, I think, for Braun Breaker to have his big WrestleMania weekend moment. He wins the NXT Championship against Dolph Ziggler.
Hopefully, we'll get some involvement from the Steiners.
Yeah, I'm hoping like Robert Roode tries to get involved and the Steiners come down and attack him. I think that would be great. But yeah, I think that is the play. I think Braun Breaker has his moment, and Takeover Stand and Deliver ends with the Steiners hoisting up Braun Breaker as he holds up the NXT Championship. And that will be a great way to end that portion of the show, that portion of WrestleMania weekend. And we are all, as T celebrates us, as closing out that Stand and Deliver portion. T, any thoughts as far as what match? I think I told you what I think the opening match of WrestleMania Night 1 should be. Your thoughts? Or just which match you want to talk about first?
You want to open with Bianca and Becky, but that was both women's title matches on Saturday.
Yeah, I did see that. I remember seeing that and thinking that, like, if they're doing it that way, they're going to sandwich the show.
I mean, hey, if they are, then it'll be just like if Stand and Deliver opens with the NXT Women's title. So
you sandwich the show with the 2 heavyweight championships. Like a lot of times it is that like the most important match obviously goes on last, and anymore it seems like more and more the second most important match opens the show. I remember hearing Miz say one time his attitude is he always wants to close the show. If he can't close it, he'd rather open it if he had his way. And his thought process being you set the tone for the night, and then afterwards you can go back and just get yourself ready and basically sit at the curtain and watch the rest of the show. And I always find that cool when like guys are fans as well as, performers. Like they want to sit there and watch all the matches. Like one of the cool things, and I'll talk about. Well, okay, I can't promise this will be the only mention I have of my WrestleMania weekend in New York a couple of years ago. But I'll never forget, like, after, so I'm at the Fan Fest, and Johnny Gargano had done an appearance, and I think it was set up for NXT. Like, I think they aired it on NXT. And he's sitting there after having just won the championship the night before. And, he's talking to the audience. And afterwards, after doing his appearance, he's like, he leaves. And, me and my friend, we walk through the shop because it's like, dude, we're at the shop. We're like, we have to go see what we can find. Found this nice shirt, the WrestleMania shirt from that year. And, I see Johnny Gargano right there. He's checking things out. He's checking out the merch. He's going to buy something. It's like, I just think that's cool when you're a performer, but you're also a fan. And so that's what I think it is. Like The Miz, he's a performer, but he's also a fan. Like he says, even if he's not on the show, like he rarely misses Monday Night Raw or SmackDown. He always watches. So like I think that's cool. But yeah, Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair, opening match. As much as I like Becky, I've been a Becky fan pretty much since the beginning of her career. Since the first time I saw her in NXT, I just saw her and I thought, that girl's got something. And for the longest time, I couldn't figure out if she was ever going to put it together. But man, once she did, she has been riding the edge of a lightning bolt ever since.
Mm.
Is this the day it ends? Story-wise, it makes sense. Like if it's if Bianca's gonna win again, like if Bianca doesn't win here, like basically she's not gonna be in a title picture for a while.
I don't think this will be the end of big time Bex the Man, whatever she's going by. But it would be nice to get some accolades on Bianca Belair.
Yeah.
She won both Raw and SmackDown's women's titles at WrestleManias.
Yeah, back-to-back years. She won. Yeah. Yeah, that would be a heck of an accomplishment. And really, if it's going to work for the women as far as elevating the women, like obviously Charlotte Flair, Ronda Rousey, and Becky Lynch are the top 3 dogs, and so if you're gonna if this is gonna work, you got to elevate some people. Like I have felt like Liv Morgan was one that, and I'll just continue to ride that horse into the ground, that Liv Morgan deserves a women's championship. And I'm hoping her and Rhea Ripley win the women's tag title. So we'll talk about those next. But that being said, everything about wanting to elevate the women, Bianca Belair needs to be elevated. If you're not unifying the belts anytime soon with the women's titles, then I'd say you let Bianca win the title at WrestleMania. Now, the one caveat, if if Becky Lynch wins, if Becky Lynch retains the title, I think you're definitely going to get a Ronda Rousey championship win later on Saturday. And then they will push for, at some point, whether it be Backlash, which I hope it's not Backlash, but or maybe SummerSlam, they unify the Raw and SmackDown women's titles and give you Ronda Rousey versus Becky Lynch one-on-one, which we've not had Ronda Rousey versus Becky Lynch one-on-one. We have had Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte Flair one-on-one. That was at Survivor Series, what was that, 18?
Oh, yeah. Becky was unable.
Becky was injured. Becky had just become the man thanks to Nia Jax. With that iconic pose, and her standing there, all puffed out, like just, like that was where, like, if ever an iconic moment, like Stone Cold had the blood coming down the face at WrestleMania 13. Becky Lynch had that Monday Night Raw after the invasion. Like that moment, I'm pretty sure it is on a T-shirt. I know I'm pretty sure I've seen it. Wow. Yeah, it really should. If it's not, it really should be. I think it's on one of those. Like basically they do like a bunch of portraits, like moments. Like I saw one with the Shawn Michaels holding the title, and some other iconic moments. One of my favorites was there was a shirt I saw, and it's not an official WWE shirt. I think it was on one of the it was on Pro Wrestling Tees. It was Undertaker, like they had the Hell in a Cell on the shirt, Undertaker on top of it, and you on the side of the shirt it's Mankind's down there, and on the back, God is my witness, he is broken in half. And I don't know why I didn't buy it right as soon as I saw that, because that's like one of my favorite matches ever. Okay, I always do this. I always get off topic. All right, but yeah, I think if they're going to unify the belts, which I'd love to see them do, Becky Lynch retains. If not, then Bianca Belair wins the Raw Women's Championship and has her, a big moment. And again, solidifies her as one of those women that's in that upper echelon. Because like I said, we've right now got 3 women that are head and shoulders above the rest. I'd say after those 3, it's Bianca and Sasha Banks fighting for the next spot. And then, of course, when Bayley gets back, she's right there in that mix. And if you have Bianca win and Bianca show that she belongs on that upper echelon, then my gosh, I really hope we don't have to wait until Elimination Chamber, but can we have an Elimination Chamber of those 6 women?
Well, that's what WWE 2K22 is for.
Good call. Good call. I've got to get that. All right. Let's move along because we got a lot of matches to go through, and I'd like to try to hit on pretty much all of them. Miz and Logan Paul versus the Mysterios. I think I said some of these matches last week because I thought this week we probably wouldn't, get to them, but we're gonna try again. Any thoughts? Any interest?
I'll try and not be negative about it.
Yeah.
Well, not negative. I'll try not to crap on it. Usually they don't have the guest person lose, but the Mysterios was Ray being on the cover of 2K22. So, whatever. Whichever way that's going to go.
And it's a shame because I kind of feel like maybe they could be using this match to set up, and I had an epiphany. How about, the whole Miz taking off Mysterio's mask a couple weeks ago? What if, regardless of who wins on, at WrestleMania, what if we have a challenge thrown down from Mysterio? Ray will put his mask up against the Miz's hair, a mask versus hair match at Backlash between Rey Mysterio and the Miz. Would that make you more interested in the storyline, or is there really any hope?
I mean, that would spice things up. Because right now, that's piss break number 1 of 3.
Okay, yeah. All right. Then let's get to the other ones, the other piss break matches. I mean, Sami Zayn, Johnny Knoxville. I'm sorry, guys. They've tried so hard. And I mean, Sami Zayn is so good. Like, he is just pure gold. He's going to be one of the underappreciated treasures of this generation. God bless you, Sammy. I just don't care about this. I just don't. Like, I don't care about Johnny Knoxville. I've never watched any of the Jackass movies. Like, to me, an entire genre of movie that is just a bunch of skits, guys running around like jackasses, and basically are hurting each other or, hurting themselves, doing stupid stuff. It doesn't impress me. Like, I'm sorry. I don't think that's art. I don't think it's not special.
I mean, if they're not going to have an appearance by Steve-O, then
Then why are we even doing this?
piss break number 2.
Yeah.
Or snack break, whatever.
Yeah, that might be where I go pick up the pizza or something. Although I actually don't think that match will be very long. Just because, I mean, he's not a trained wrestler. The Mysterios versus Logan Paul and The Miz, I feel like that match they could try to make like a decent match. Because one, you can hide Logan Paul in the team. You let The Miz do most of the work and take all the bumps. Logan Paul just comes in for a couple spots to do something cool. But I could see him wanting to take a bump. Just to be like, yeah, I'm not shying away from this. I could see him wanting to take a bump. Yeah, Johnny Knoxville, I think, obviously, that's one thing I'll say for him. I know he's not going to be scared to take a bump.
And hey, who knows? Maybe we're wrong, and one of them or both of them will end up being the next Bad Bunny.
Oh, yeah, dude, last year, I was fully convinced that the Bad Bunny match was going to be a piss break match. I'm glad I didn't do it. Actually, the last few WrestleManias, that's kind of happened to me where it's like I thought one match was going to be a piss break match, and it's been pretty decent. Like going back to WrestleMania 34, the Ronda Rousey and Kurt Angle against Triple H and Stephanie, I'm like, there's no full-time wrestler in the match. They're all either part-timers or having their first ever match. Like what are we doing here? And that match actually turned out to maybe steal the show. I mean, okay, so what's piss match break number 3? Or piss break match, not piss match break.
I guess I shouldn't call it a piss break, but it's not really that high of interest. The women's tag team title match, Fatal 4-Way.
Yeah, I gotta be honest, like I've not been interested in the whole Carmella just wanting to make out with Corey during their matches. Like, it's not interesting. Like, yes, I know they're engaged. They're gonna get married. Like, aren't they getting married next week or something?
I don't know.
I haven't watched their show. I know a lot of people have. God bless them. I hope that they make $1 trillion off of it. But yeah, that doesn't interest me. Again, the only thing I'm really interested in that match is I want to see Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan win the tag titles. Like they're the team I'm rooting for. I want to see Liv with gold.
As long as Carmella and Zelina don't retain, I'm fine.
Yeah, well, yeah, I don't think there's a team that I'd necessarily be mad if they won. Natalya and Shayna, I think that would be pretty good. Would Shayna be the first to be a multi-time women's tag team champion with different partners?
I don't think so, but I can't recall who.
I feel like you're right. I just couldn't remember who. That's why I asked the question. I'm trying to think. So what do we have? Bailey and Sasha. I know they've won them twice, but they both were together. Where Sasha and Naomi would also achieve that. Well, Sasha would. Because this would be her third time, but with two different partners.
Ooh.
Trying to think who else might have been. I don't know. Oh no, Nikki Cross, or I'm sorry, Nikki ASH, because Alexa Bliss, and then Rhea Ripley.
I feel like there was someone else, but I don't care that much.
You're not going to go Google the history of the women's tag team titles?
I'm not gonna lie, I probably will do it after the show.
Let's say, what else you got to do? Okay. All right, let's go with the tag team titles. Let's do that since we started on the women's tag team titles. Let's do the men tag team titles first. Let's do the Raw tag team titles.
Another triple threat match. So RK Bro versus Alpha Academy versus the Street Profits.
Which, by the way, Street Profits looking very heelish this past week. Jumping RK Bro after their match.
And they could use a turn.
Mm-hmm. Do you think they win the tag team titles as part of their turn? I feel like this screams RK Bro retains.
If they don't retain, though, can we push the narrative of the whole RK Bro breakup, Orton versus Riddle down the line?
I really thought that when they started this whole thing, it was all to get to Randy Orton versus Riddle at WrestleMania. I really believed that, but I think they ultimately decided not to do it, at least not yet, just because of how much fun the two of them were having. And I think Randy's just enjoying it. And, you know, he deserves sometimes just doing something that's fun. And he just, like, you can tell, like, when certain guys are just, like, playing a part or playing a character in a match. Randy seems like he is genuinely having fun. And so I don't want to rush that ending.
Well, there's two potheads hanging out.
This is true.
One obviously more than the other.
Oh, yeah.
But they are both.
When you think about how long Randy's been doing this, all the injuries that he has sustained over the years, like, he probably does it just to avoid the pain. So, yeah, I think RK Bro retains. That's going to be my choice.
You know what? I'm going for the unexpected Alpha Academy.
Okay.
They're growing on me. Especially with
Shush.
Whoosh. Love how they made a shirt already.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I love his two catchphrases. Chad Gable, everything they give him, he knocks out of the park. Like every stupid ass gimmick they've ever given that guy. Like he turns chicken shit into chicken salad every freaking time.
And it's some good chicken salad.
Right. Like, I mean, the only thing I'd say they gave him that was a good thing to do was when he teamed with Jason Jordan.
That's probably when he was at his best.
Right, Alpha Academy. I think that was the only thing that gave him that, like, right away, that was good. But then, teaming him with Rude, like, I thought, I'm like, that's just not a pairing that works. But he went with it, and he made it work. And then doing the whole Shorty G thing, I thought, I'm like, man, this is stupid. But he knocked that out of the park, too.
I don't know why I'm thinking of this just now, but
Mm.
it's kind of drawing comparisons of back in the day, TNA, when Petey Williams was little mini Papa Pump Scott Steiner.
Right, yeah, when he was, like, a little glorious.
And they were giving Petey a whole bunch of little crap gimmicks as well.
I'll always say that the one team that they haven't done with Gable that I really wish they would, Chad Gable and Dolph Ziggler, two of the most accomplished real wrestlers WWE has ever employed. Either let them have it. Well, what I was hoping they would do is let them have a couple banger matches where they just go at it one-on-one and just, I mean, tear the house down like a couple weeks in a row. Just, for no reason really. You just put them out there, and it's like after the first match, everyone's like, "Oh wow, that was a really good match." Second match, it like gets a big ovation, and after the third one, and I even say have Dolph Ziggler win all three. And my reason being, after the third, Gable goes back and he's kind of dejected, and you could have some team. Of course, when I first had this idea, FTR was still the Revival and in WWE, and I thought it would make perfect sense to have them kind of taunt Gable. And then, he gets mad, they get into a fight, and he's getting beat up because it's two of them. And then I know where Dolph Ziggler comes in and defends him, and then you've got the team now of Dolph Ziggler and Gable. That was my way of how I was going to get to that tag team. But I still would love to see it. Like, you can put somebody else in the Revival role. I'm trying to maybe the Usos.
I mean, hey, both Ziggler and Gable are on Raw, so it's still possible.
Yeah, that's still my goal, is to get those two as a tag team. Okay, so I like your surprise there of the Alpha Academy winning the Raw tag titles. So let's go. Next up, Usos defending the SmackDown tag team titles against Cesaro. Or not Cesaro. I wish it was Cesaro. Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Boogs.
This is one of those where I don't really want either team to lose.
Right.
But there has to be a winner and loser. Well, I mean, it could be a draw.
But somebody's getting the titles and somebody's not. Yeah.
Yeah. Hell, keep it rolling. Go with the Usos.
I kind of feel the same way about this one as I felt about Toxic Attraction. If the Usos win, then Roman's definitely winning in the main event. If Boogs and Nakamura win, you could still have Roman win, but I think that opens the door for Brock Lesnar. Because I don't think you're gonna have the Usos win and then Brock Lesnar unify the belts. I mean, I guess you could. That actually would make more sense than if Mandy were to lose and the other two in NXT were to retain. So,
Well, if the Usos lose and Roman wins, obviously the Usos are gonna get a stern talking to from the tribal chief.
sure, but I almost feel like then it's no
Money.
longer like they're not concerned about everybody holding gold anymore. It's just the Usos role then becomes all about just making sure Roman keeps the belt.
Or, hey, Roman might even get mad and be like, screw this whole thing. You guys are losers. I'm done with y'all. I'm the big champ now. Just make everything go to his head.
Or and then what you do as a surprise call up, Solo Sikoa gets called up from NXT and helps Roman. And basically he comes out and helps Roman destroy the Usos. And so Roman and Solo Sikoa versus the Usos in a tag match on SmackDown.
Sure.
Or maybe even have that match at WrestleMania Backlash. Yep, we're not putting the belt on the line. It's just going to be Roman and Sikoa versus the Usos at Backlash. Okay, but yeah, I think I'm going to go with the Usos to retain. The only way I could see a scenario in which the Usos retain and Roman doesn't win is if their idea is then Roman takes some time off and we don't have like the conversation of the bloodline faction for a while. And I mean, they could certainly do that. Roman's been going strong, for ever since he came back from his concerns about COVID. So,
yeah, it's been like 2 years straight, right?
yeah, without really any significant time off. So I could certainly see them doing that, but I'll go with Usos retaining. And that will bring us to Drew McIntyre versus Happy Corbin. I think I mentioned this last week. I just don't see a scenario. Like everything screams Drew McIntyre wins and wins convincingly.
Yeah, this doesn't even really need to be a WrestleMania match.
Yeah, I feel like they've drug it out. It doesn't really mean anything. Like, yeah,
But yeah, whatever. It's already there, so
sure. Yeah, we're not gonna like make them cancel it now. I mean, they probably already got their hotel room booked, and kind of be a jerk move. Okay, next up, I guess we'll talk about the SmackDown Women's Title match next. Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey, which will probably close out night one.
I don't know which way that's gonna go. I mean, Ronda will probably win, but
yeah, my gut tells me that Ronda's winning.
that would mean Charlotte Flair would have to lose, and Charlotte Flair doesn't lose.
I mean, except for she's lost the title 12 times. Only so she can win it back, but yeah.
Yep.
I think Ronda Rousey's going to win. That's my gut. And, I'm a pretty heavy guy. So I tend to trust my gut. Yeah, I think Ronda wins. And I'm telling you, I really think they're setting up for the unification match between Ronda Rousey and Becky Lynch and giving us that first ever one-on-one match between the two. Probably at SummerSlam, which I was reading somewhere SummerSlam is going to be July 2nd. It's a Saturday of 4th of July. Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, and then like in August, they're going to do one of those Saudi Arabia pay-per-views.
Come on. Well,
Yeah.
SummerSlam in Saudi Arabia, whatever. SummerSlam is August.
Or put the Salty show in July.
Yeah.
Although having a Salty show 4th of July weekend would kind of be weird.
Well, oh well, whatever. Not like we can do anything about it.
Oh, yeah, they don't listen to us. Okay, so I'm going Rousey. You going Rousey as well, or are you going Charlotte?
Yeah, Rousey. Just
Okay.
weird to see Charlotte not win.
No, I know what you mean. All right. So let's talk about the Kevin Owens show now. Kevin Owens obviously going to have his guest Stone Cold Steve Austin. I feel like Kevin Owens going to try to attempt to have a civilized conversation with Stone Cold, and like he's going to ask Stone Cold. Well, what I think would be cool is if Kevin Owens goes on this like opening monologue saying, "We're going to stand here, we're going to have a civilized conversation, and we're going to about our differences," and like Stone Cold's going to walk out, not stand there, not say a thing, and like. And Kevin finally says, "What do you think? Can we have a truce or something?" Stone Cold, wham, stunner on KO, and it's just that's the whole show.
Maybe if we're lucky, we can get a match out of it.
Would absolutely love it. Would love to see like. What would be great is that like Kevin Owens goes on the whole thing, and then it's like he KO hands the mic to Stone Cold and is like, "So what do you think? Can we be friends?" Stone Cold just says, "Get a ref." Referee comes down, and they go at it, and then it turns into a little bit of a wrestling match. Of course, it ends with Stone Cold delivering a stunner on KO, and the Texas Rattlesnake wins his last match and goes off into the sunset.
Or if Austin can't do a match, he'll be like, "Son, I want to whip your ass right now, but I'm not medically able to do so. But I found myself some representation, and then I'm just wondering who could that be? Have someone wrestle for him."
Well, that brings me to let's circle back and let's create it all part of one little package here. Seth Rollins has a match now at WrestleMania, which I love. Okay, couple things here. First, I think it's hilarious they have him jump through all these hoops just for Vince McMahon to be like, "Whatever, you want a match? I'll give you a match at WrestleMania." Like, and two, like they had that tag team title match, the Raw tag team titles, in which and the whole like sticking point of that match is, like one of these teams is going to pave their way to WrestleMania. You do realize that now with Seth Rollins having a match, every one of those 6 competitors in that match now are in a WrestleMania match. So what was the damn significance of that title match? Like that was all I heard the entire match. One of these teams is going to go to WrestleMania. The other 2 may not. Well, all 6 guys are at WrestleMania now. But so you said Steve Austin getting representation to fight for him. So if you have Seth Rollins already have his match and it not be Cody Rhodes as Steve Austin's representation?
Sure.
So then it's Cody and KO. And of course, a lot of people are talking about that if Seth Rollins is not facing Cody at WrestleMania, that his opponent would be Shane McMahon.
See, you've heard the rumors too.
I have. And I mean, look, I think those two could put on a hell of a match. But when I, for the last 2 months, have been thinking Cody Rhodes is facing Seth Rollins at WrestleMania, not getting that match would feel like a disappointment.
I mean, obviously, I want Seth versus Cody more, but
Sure.
if we're getting Seth versus Shane, I'm okay with it. As long as Shane isn't winning.
Yeah, I was going to say, if Seth faces Shane, then Seth has to win. Seth versus Cody, I'm okay, obviously, with Cody winning. In fact, I think Cody needs to win if it's Seth and Cody.
Yeah, you gotta shake off the stink of Stardust and all that other past
For
stuff
sure.
that was nowhere near the main event level.
Speaking of nowhere near the main event level, let's talk about Pat McAfee versus Austin Theory.
Oh my god, how many matches are there?
Yeah, I know. We're almost done. I promise.
And it's still Omos and Lashley.
Yeah, I forgot about that one. Yeah, sorry.
It's like 20 matches on this card.
Okay, real quick. Omos Lashley, who wins?
They better not feed Lashley to Omos.
Yeah, I feel like Lashley has to win.
I mean, if they can do it in a convincing fashion, fine. If they can make Omos look strong and not bury Lashley.
Right,
Then,
I would be in favor of that. Yeah.
but if I'm picking, then obviously Lashley.
Yeah, me too. All right. So then Austin Theory versus Pat McAfee. You've got to have Theory win, right? He's the actual wrestler here.
Well, see, this is where the shame is that Adam Cole isn't around, so they can't reference Pat McAfee's past 2 matches.
Yeah, which he had a couple bangers, with Adam Cole. Although I think Adam Cole could have a convincing match with a broomstick. And then the War Games match that Pat McAfee which was a part of, in which he really performed very well. And they didn't hide him the way I thought they would in the War Games match.
He was in it, man.
Yeah, he was all about it. Which why I think he'll be all about this match, and I think that match is you're gonna low key steal the show. Like that's my nominee for show stealer of WrestleMania is Pat McAfee versus Austin Theory.
Oh my god, it's another match we forgot.
Oh, which one?
Edge and AJ.
Oh Jesus! How do we feel that's one of the better matches too?
Oh,
And I mean, I would say that match could steal the show, but like if everybody's expecting it to, can it really steal the show?
it can.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's Edge and AJ Styles, so yes, it can. All right. I think AJ wins that matchup. I think Austin Theory beats Pat McAfee. I think Lashley beats Omos. We're at an hour, so I want to go ahead and get to the main event. Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, WWE Championship versus Universal Championship, title for title, the unification match on the biggest, most stupendous WrestleMania of all time. Who you got?
Well, obviously, backstage, it all depends on who's taking time off or whatever, but as a fan, Cowboy Brock's kind of growing on me.
Yeah, and like some of the things I've been hearing about him, locker room leader Brock is growing on me. Like he stays apparently at every show and watches the entire show and like talks to everybody about their match. Like he's like trying to be he's trying to be a leader. And I'm like, who are you and what have you done with Brock Lesnar?
Where was
alpha male of our species. I love this. Like I love this version of Brock Lesnar. That said, I do think Roman Reigns is winning. Everything screams it. It's their third match at a WrestleMania, kind of like Rock and Stone Cold. Roman's got to get that W. Otherwise, I feel like it's a black mark against him in his career, is that he was never able to beat Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania.
Well, their second WrestleMania match, they both lost.
Well, the first one, actually.
Yeah, same thing.
Seth cashed in, yeah. But still, this would be the third time they face each other, and all three times Roman didn't win. Even though Brock didn't win the first one, Brock won the second one. But I mean, Brock dominated that second one. Like it was a la the John Cena SummerSlam match.
Yeah, that was weird. We thought Brock was done after that.
Oh, I thought Brock was leaving the company. And I'm like, I thought Brock was leaving. He was going to UFC or do whatever the hell he was going to do. And then it's like after the match, right away you see it released where Brock Lesnar had signed some contract extension. And I'm like, oh, okay. Guess that's happening.
Glad I didn't place bets that night.
Yeah, right. So if you had to place a bet, Roman or Brock?
Well, if we're betting now, then Reigns.
Sure.
Although
what you want is for Brock Lesnar.
That was the idea last time. And but yeah, Reigns. Pretty sure Reigns is just gonna be the big dog on the island of relevancy.
And then he walks out to start Monday Night Raw and, talks about how he told everybody this was going to happen. This is his island. This is his WWE and all that fun stuff. Oh, wow. We've been going at it for over an hour now.
Whew. Iron Man match.
Yeah. We went full Brett Shawn. All right. Obviously, we didn't have time to get to any homework assignments. Not going to assign anything since I think we're going to be watching enough wrestling this weekend. And not that there's any such thing, but we'll talk about, obviously, we'll break down the entire WrestleMania results on next Thursday. Everybody, have a great night. Thank you so much for joining us. T, anything to add before we get out of here?
WrestleMania is finally here.
Yes, it is. Guys, enjoy it. It is a fun time. It's WWE's equivalent to the Super Bowl. I'm actually surprised that I'm the first one, I think, that said that this season. But it is the granddaddy of them all, the showcase of the immortals. Enjoy it. Enjoy every aspect of this, man. This is one of those things that gets me through, like waking up at 4:15 in the morning to go to work, is knowing, like, that's what's going to get me up tomorrow, is knowing I just got to get through tomorrow, and then it's freaking WrestleMania.
It's going to be stupendous.
All right, man. Enjoy. I'll be sure to message you throughout WrestleMania. I'm sure we'll be talking a lot. Enjoy it, man.
All righty.
Happy wrestling, everybody.